Welcome to the Sport Drip Show. I'm your host, Limba Mupetami. Let's get into today's hit list. Two Namibian boxers, John Njolonimus and Charles Shinima, who will be defending their African boxing titles, have promised to retain them at Halau Nafiti on Saturday night. Also in the mix will be Philippus Energy Nekotumbwa, who is set to fight for the WBO Global Super Bantamweight title. The boxers had a successful weigh-in this morning in Windhoek. A strong Namibian team of 24 para-athletes have left for Johannesburg last night to compete at the South African Sports Association for the Physically Disabled National Championships from the 19th to the 23rd of this month. The likes of Johannes Nambala, Anania Shikongo, and Namibia's Golden Girl, Joanna Benson, as well as several other upcoming athletes have been included, and Michael Hamukwaya, the Secretary General of the Namibia Paralympic Committee, said he has high hopes for the team. Namibia Rugby Union has announced a 25-member squad that will represent the country at the upcoming Under-20 Baths Cup in Kenya from the 9th to the 17th of April. The NRU Chief Executive Officer John Haynes confirmed that the team will leave for Kenya on the 6th of April and then return on the 18th, that is. This morning, GIZ handed over 52 laptops and S4D manuals worth over 1 million to the Ministry of Sport as sponsorship in aid of the Namibia Sport Development Index data collection process. The Minister of Sports, Agnes Shongarero, had this to say at the handover.
Manager of the program, Mr. Javera, Acting Director in the Ministry, Ms. Manuel, Deputy Director, all the seniors who are here, staffs present here at this occasion, invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, I forgot Mr. Mapele. It's okay. You are included. Good morning, everybody. I like to greet people. Good morning. Good morning. That sounds better. Now we are together, actually. Yeah. This is indeed an auspicious occasion. It is not every day that you attend an event where you receive any form of a donation, especially in these trying times. As we all are aware, the NDP5 identifies desired outcomes from the sport sector, hoping development will be improved and athletes accorded the necessary opportunities to participate in sport and active recreation, where the anticipated growth in employment contributions are targeted to increase from 0.2% in 2014 to 2% in 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, our ministry is about to develop the Namibia Sport Development Index. Overall, the NSDI will aim to capture the extent to which sport contributes to the socio-economic development in Namibia, as well as other multi-dimensional properties that indicate the enhancement of the sport economy and improvement of community sport participation that can contribute to national development. The objective of this project is to provide Namibia with the necessary information and evidence on the status quo of sport professionalization and its contribution to the economic growth. More so, the employment, health, and social development. Therefore, the donated laptops will enhance the development of the index, specifically phase 2 of the said index, as well as general observation of sport activities in measuring the participation and perceptions on sport and recreation activities. It is against this background that I hereby extend my heartfelt appreciation to GIZ for the continuous support and sincerely hope that this will not be the last donation of laptops to be received, as our multi-purpose youth centers are also in need of laptops and many more. I hope this...
Go far with Paratus. Go further with Paratus Fiber. Paratus, offering high-speed, reliable fiber connectivity, starting from only 599 Namibian dollars per month. Unlimit your lifestyle and visit na.paratus.africa for more information.
Always prepared. Paratus.
Welcome to the Sharpshooter segment of Sport Rap. Well, of course, we are joined by Ernst Narib, a 200 and 400 meter champion, who speaks about the challenges Namibian athletes face and what Athletics Namibia can do to assist local athletes. Narib is famously known for having started the Ernst Narib Golden Spike series, which provides local opportunities for athletes to compete for ranking. Have a listen to what he had to say. Yes, so welcome Ernst Narib to the show. We just wanted to speak to you a bit about, athletics in Namibia, what you are up to right now, and just some general topics in Athletics Namibia at the moment. So starting off, you are a 200, 400 kilometer athlete, meters rather, not kilometers. So how is it going with the Ernst Narib Golden Spike series that you started?
Actually, the Golden Spike series was a successful event. I launched the event in 2017, but due to COVID regulations, we took a hold on the event. But now that I received the message that we got yesterday from the president, whereby there's more relaxed measures, I think that the Golden Spike series will be resuming. So I'm looking forward to hosting more events this year, whereby athletes can qualify for either the Commonwealth or the African Champs before the due date. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. So you being an active athlete, and Namibia having an organization called the Athletics Namibia, and you now coming up with a series that you are running yourself, you organize it yourself. Does it mean that there is a gap that Athletics Namibia is not filling when it comes to, providing opportunities for local athletes?
Yeah, to be quite frank and to be quite honest, there is a hunger and there's a thirst for athletes to compete. Because if you can follow the annual Athletics Namibia Grand Prix series, these are events where Athletics Namibia hosts, whereby athletes can qualify. This series have limited amount of events, so the program is shortened. So for instance, maybe in one leg there will be 100 meters, but there won't be 200 meters. So the athletes are limited at the events which is held by Athletics Namibia. So I have taken it upon myself to give ample amount of opportunities to all athletes, whereby there will always be a full program whereby athletes can choose and be able to compete at all events, instead of just having to compete at one event or their events not being provided. So there is a gap, or there seems to be a sort of I don't know how to put it, but there seems to be a need for more people to come in and more people to host events, due to the fact that unfortunately Athletics Namibia does not provide sufficient amount of events whereby athletes have a chance to qualify.
All right. Now, speaking about last weekend, you took part in the Commerce Regional Athletics, and how was that for you? Any challenges that you maybe faced? And I understand that you also qualified now for Mauritius, which is the African Championships.
Yeah, the event was a very, very successful event. I think the organizers, Mr. Hamola and his team, I think deserve a round of applause. they also, I saw that they also saw the need of lack of events being able to being provided in the country. So I would say the major challenges was just sort of a mishap towards the end of the event when it came to the relays, whereby there was miscommunication, and athletes that had a mixed teams or decided to run with each other instead of in clubs, were not given an opportunity to receive the medals. So I think the only challenges that athletes faced was due to communications and the proper track and field officials. It seems that the officials that were there were not sufficient, or the work they were doing was not up to par. So I would say the only challenges were the sufficient officials and the mishap towards the end of the competition. But other than that, it was a very successful event.
All right. Now, do you think that local athletes, Namibian athletes, do you think that there's a voice for them when it comes to, when they want to compete in competitions, when they are looking for sponsorships? Do you think, or rather when they are having challenges, when they are having problems, do you think that there's a voice? Do you think that they have the courage to stand up and speak on these problems that they are facing?
It's funny enough that you asked me this question, because a few athletes actually came up to me and did ask something similar. Unfortunately, not just in athletics, but in Namibia as a whole, I think we as a country, we are people that try to avoid conflict. We don't have the courage to fight for ourselves. So when it comes to athletics, it's sad to say that there is not actually a voice. There is not someone that can be brave or that have the courage to fight when we have problems, because sadly the problems that we have can only be resolved with the federation, and we might have the issue with certain individuals within the federation. So athletes are scared to stand up, and people are scared to speak out, because if they speak out, they will be labeled as negative or being disrespectful or being ill-mannered, because those that do know me and those that do follow me on social media platforms know that I'm someone that is very outspoken. So I have tried in the past to try and raise concern for the athletes, but also me, I have been labeled as a bad apple as a bad individual when it comes to athletics in the country, because I try to raise the concerns for the athletes. But myself, I'm an active athlete. As you have mentioned earlier, I've qualified for African Senior Championships. This is a team that's selected by Athletics Namibia. So if I stand up and if I speak out, I am in fear of maybe not being selected for the team. So this is the problem that we are facing, because there's a lot of mishaps happening behind the scenes which people are not aware of. But we don't have someone to speak out. Yes, we do have athlete representatives within the federation and within the regions, but even the athlete representatives, their voices do get silenced, because the people that we are speaking up against are the ones that are in charge. So it's like you have to complain about your boss to your boss. So how can this be resolved if I have to speak out and say Athletics Namibia, what they are doing is not correct, and only Athletics Namibia can change it? So unfortunately, there is not a voice to speak out, and those that speak out are considered negative, or they are considered ill-mannered, and those are the words that I have also received myself as I'm speaking here, because I have raised concerns of saying that the events are not sufficient, or the events that are held don't have all the long program. The programs are short, but if you look at in our neighboring countries who have the same problems that we are facing, like Botswana, they have all the events for their league meetings. So even in South Africa, they have all the events whereby the program will start early and the program will finish at 6 p.m. So the response I got from Athletics Namibia when I raised this concern was to say that regions must host their own events. So, but people don't have the money. Like when I host the Narib series, it cost me roughly even up to 20,000, 10,000 if it's less, just to host one event. So regions don't have money, but at least Athletics Namibia does receive certain amount of funding from IAAF and from other entities. So they are the mother body, and they are the body that we look up to, because there is not enough money in the sport. So when it comes to someone having a voice to speak out, there is no one, because the voices are being silent. And if, like I said earlier, if we speak out, we are considered negative. So how can someone speak out and then they are being told they are negative while they are raising proper concerns? Instead of the concerns being resolved, then people are saying they're ill-mannered. So I think the most challenges is for the federation to take constructive criticism and to look at their in-house and say, if Narib posts something, let them see, is this relevant? Is it true? How can we resolve it? Rather than saying Narib is having bad manners or he's negative, let them resolve it. Because if they resolve it, then I don't think I would have made a post, or I don't think people would have complained about athletics. Because I think, to be honest, it's the sport is going backwards, to be honest.
Okay, now just speaking about Athletics Namibia, and you saying that it seems like they don't have the money. They are not doing enough to secure sponsorship for to run Athletics Namibia. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the most of the I've actually given proposals on a few occasions. I can show via my WhatsApp that there are opportunities where other countries send invitations to us for us to compete. Like, for example, in Botswana, in South Africa, I believe there was an email sent for athletes to compete in the ongoing ASA South African Continental Cup, the Grand Prix, which will kick off this afternoon in Bloemfontein. So unfortunately, as being one of the elite athletes or one of the top athletes, I was never told that there will be a provisional team sent to this event. So the most, when I personally sent out a proposal for Athletics Namibia to try and see if we can have a team to go abroad there, the concern I get is always lack of funding.
Yeah.
So it seems that they don't have money, or they don't have enough funding, and I believe there is not policies in place for them to secure this funding.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, now just quickly, two things before we close off due to time. Looking at athletics now, and looking at the junior level, looking at the senior level in Namibia, would you say which two, if you could compare, is being run properly? Would you say? And some of the senior athletes that Namibia has, some of the names have just disappeared. Maybe you can speak about those people. Where are those people now?
Yeah, it's quite interesting that I was talking about this with Mr. Solidaker. I think he's an NSSU, and I told him that whenever you go to a school meet or a competition whereby schools are having their events, you'll be in tears, because the events are packed. The kids are running. I mean, they are enjoying. They are competing. It's so jolly. So I would say that the junior competitions or the junior level is more productive and is more producive compared to the seniors, and the performances speak for themselves. I mean, the two ladies we have being Mboma and Masilingi, they are still juniors, and we have other juniors that have qualified for World Juniors, like in Andre Retief and the lady doing shot put. So you can see that no senior apart from the juniors has actually qualified for World Championship. So this does show you that the NSSU's programs are much ran better than the senior level programs, because these athletes are doing better than us. And also to mention the fact that the likes of Jesse Uriko, Tandako Kurirap, Klobin Mayova, Ichiviro Kanjuka, these are big athletes. These are talented athletes that have walked away from the sport in their prime. I mean, these are athletes that were in their late 20s. They are still young. I mean, Jesse Orikop is not even past the age of 30. He can still compete, but senior athletes are walking away from the sport because of these challenges and not having a voice to speak out, and this not being resolved. So a lot of talented senior athletes are walking away, and for me it's a concern, because what if these junior athletes that are doing well now reach the senior ranks? What's going to happen to them? They will also disappear like the other seniors are going. If you go to the nationals now, it will be dominated by junior athletes. Yeah.
All right. In closing, Ernst, I really note down your concerns, and of course, we want to also create another platform for you to raise up more of these issues in the future, and for Athletics Namibia to listen to you guys as well. So just in closing, Christine Mboma and Beatrice Masilingi running this afternoon in Bloemfontein. You guys are in the same circles. Is there maybe a message for these two ladies quickly?
No, I just want them to go out there and enjoy themselves and represent as well as they have been doing, and being perfect role models for the other ones. As myself, we look up to them, and I just want to wish them the best of luck.
Thank you so much, Ernst. Well, that was Ernst Narib talking about all things athletics in Namibia. I hope to have him back on the show in the future. And of course, moving on to the Game Changer segment, we have Christine Mboma and Beatrice Masilingi competing today in South Africa. So please stay tuned for that. Sprint sensations Christine Mboma and Beatrice Masilingi are competing this afternoon in Bloemfontein, South Africa at the ASA Athletics Grand Prix Continental Tour Challenger. Of course, this is the first international race for the two athletes. Now, several of South Africa's track and field stars will be also in the mix. The 2-hour meeting is the first of 5 legs in the Grand Prix series and also marks the official kick-off of the ASA track and field season. The competition starts at 4 p.m., so best of luck to the two athletes. Now, with that, let's head over to Ari Hoogert with international news.
Yeah, good day everyone. It's a time for international sport, and we start again with Women's World Cup cricket that's taking place at the moment in New Zealand, and it's defending champions England that's back to winning ways. They lost the first 3 games of the tournament under pressure to qualify for the semi-finals, but they came back. The latest result there from that World Cup is that England beat India by 4 wickets. What happened in the game was India batted first. They didn't bat well. They made 134 all out, and then England made the runs in the 31st over. It was 136 for the loss of 6 wickets for England. They won by 4 wickets, and also making the runs in 32 overs, also very good for their net run rate. So England back to winning ways in the World Cup in New Zealand. The next game will be in the tournament, will be New Zealand, the host, that will play against South Africa. Big game for South Africa. South Africa's got, they're unbeaten after 3 games, but they need to at least win 2 of the next 4 games to make sure that they qualify for the semi-finals. They play New Zealand next, and then also the other 3 games they still need to play is, they're all tough games. It's Australia against the West Indies as well, and also against India. Now we continue with tennis news. It is the Indian Wells Masters that's taking place at the moment in California, and it is Rafael Nadal, 35-year-old Rafael Nadal. He's still going strong, unbeaten in the 2022, and he played against Dan Evans of England, and he beat Dan Evans 7-5, 6-3. So he's through to the quarterfinals, and in the quarterfinals he will meet Riley Opelka. Opelka is from the United States. Opelka knocked out Denis Shapovalov of Canada in 3 sets. Also result in the men's section is 6th seed Matteo Berrettini, and he beat South African Lloyd Harris 6-4 and 7-5. In the women's draw, it is defending champion Paula Badosa of Spain that is through to the quarterfinals as well, and she beat Leila Fernandez of Canada in 2 sets. That was 6-4 and 6-4. Also, Maria Sakkari of Greece, she's the number 6 seed in the tournament. She beat Daria Seville, and that was by a walkover. Seville was injured. It was 4-1 in the first set, and Seville had to withdraw from the tournament. So Sakkari is also through to the quarterfinals. Now for soccer news on international sport, and it is a Champions League results. Not a good result for Manchester United. They've been struggling for the past few seasons, and they've been knocked out of the Champions League at home at Old Trafford. They lost to Atletico Madrid, and the score there was 1-0, and the aggregate score was 2-1 in favour of Atletico Madrid. That goes through to the semi-final of the Champions League. Not a good season for Manchester United. They're also out of the FA Cup in the English leagues, and at the moment they're outside the top 4 on the English Premier League. They in 5th position, quite a few points, 1 point behind Arsenal, but they've played 3 games more, and that is obviously important for any team to make the top 4 to qualify for the Champions League. 4 teams still trying to get into the semi-finals in the Champions League. So it will be Chelsea that will play the French club Lille, and then also Juventus that will play against Villarreal. And let's close off international sport with Formula 1 racing news, and highly anticipated 2022 season starts this weekend in Bahrain, and it is again Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton that will do battle. 23 races it will be in the season, so lots to look forward to. Interesting to look forward to this weekend, how the effect of all the changes in regulation that was made to all the vehicles. There was design changes all over the vehicle that had to be made, and it's got to do with the ability to overtake, and it is the FIA say that they will definitely more overtaking in the new season, so that will definitely be a more exciting season, the 2022 season. Already 2021 was full of action, so hopefully there will be good action and good racing in the Formula 1 season. Starts this weekend in Bahrain. So that's the sporting news we have, international sporting news. Hope you have a great day, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Goodbye.
We have come to the end of the show. Thank you so much, Ari. But please, viewers, please catch us again tomorrow, same time, same place. Not forgetting, keep your eyes on the Namibia Media Holdings social media platforms, as we'll bring you results of Christine and Beatrice Masilingi's race, which is expected to kick off anytime soon. So just keep your eyes glued to our platforms. That is all from us. See you again tomorrow.